Alright guys, this is a massive haul. Lots of different fragrances here, but not your typical fragrances. Everything is pretty random. There's some new stuff. There's some newish stuff that are not necessarily really new. There's some classics in current formulations. And there's some vintage as well. Some women's fragrances, unisex fragrances, men's fragrances, all covered in today's video. And you guys always tell me you like this channel because I don't speak about the same fragrances that everyone speaks about over and over. So find out about some unique new fragrances and some pretty popular fragrances coming right up. Thanks so much for tuning in. This is Sebastian. Yes, it's a haul video today. A lot of different stuff here today. Some new discoveries, some old stuff, some stuff I had never smelled before. I was just taking a chance. Some really unique surprises. And of course, a couple of brand new releases that I'm going to tell you about. I've been waiting for these ones to come out, and I have them. And what do I think about it? I'm going to do some sniffing on camera. Before I let you know what the fragrances are in this haul video, if this is your first time tuning into the channel and you still haven't subscribed to the channel, please do subscribe to the channel by clicking the subscribe button below, and also clicking the bell so that you'll be notified for future videos and giveaways. There's a giveaway that I'm running currently for Nichane, full bottle of one of the 5 fragrances I discuss on the video. If you haven't participated in that giveaway, go watch that video. It's a full bottle giveaway worldwide. Make sure that I could see that you are, subscribed to the channel. Okay, let's go move forward and discuss the fragrances that I had currently bought. So, starting off with the house of ACQUA di Parma, it's Colonia Club. Do you guys know this one? I actually featured this in an upcoming fragrances video that I was excited about, and guess what? I found a tester bottle. It's nice to find these tester bottles. It's a deal. It's a half-price deal, and so I took a chance at it. It's a blind buy. I hadn't even smelled it. And I do remember noticing that it had a note of shiso. And you know, it's fresh, it's green, it's kind of lightly herbal and aromatic. Shiso is that kind of a minty, I think it's a minty herb, but it's not necessarily full-on minty. There's kind of like a maybe combination of other herbs. But I like its greenness, I like its freshness. I think it'll be perfect for very, very hot days. It's not overwhelming, it's just a very fresh eau de cologne, which I quite like. So this will come into use. I don't know if you guys have sampled it, I don't know if you're curious about it, but I like the addition of shiso. It's a great note. Moving on to Acqua di Gio from Armani, the EDP. How is everyone feeling about this one? Is it true that the Profumo is discontinued? Is it discontinued because they were launching this one? I'm not sure. I prefer the Profumo. This might grow on me. It is definitely marine. It's just an intense version of the original, which has gotten watered down because I remember wearing it in '97 and it was really beefy. This kind of reminds me of it, but I felt like the Profumo was more like what I wore in '97, which the original used to be like, you know? They've really watered down the original. And this one seems like a little more deeper than the current eau de toilette. Not as intense as the Profumo. And let me know, guys, if the Profumo has been discontinued. I've heard rumors that it has. Is the eau de parfum replacing it? I don't know. But, you know, it's a pleasant scent. I'm kind of bored of this particular fragrance. The flankers have kind of gotten out of hand. But I much prefer this one than that one that it comes in a brown juice. I don't care for that one whatsoever. Moving on to a fragrance I reviewed recently and Lucky Scent sold out. But before I launched that video, I did go ahead and order another one. So yes, I do have 2 bottles of this now. I'm addicted to this particular smell. And I also featured it in a video over the weekend of clubbing fragrances, most intense beast mode kind of fragrances. This is definitely not intense, but it definitely has major intensity. It has great longevity, and I really like this one because it's the kind of honeyed patchouli experience. A little animalic. I know some people might not like the animalics of this one, but definitely have another bottle. It is quite expensive, but it did sell out. They were supposedly getting new stock at Lucky Scent. I've ordered mine at Lucky Scent because this is from Lucky Scent, and so now I have 2 bottles. Did any of you go ahead and buy the Thomas de Monaco Raw Gold, and what are your thoughts? I did receive several messages of people that watched that video, my initial review, went and got it, and after they got it, they said it smelled great. They really loved it. But there were a couple of comments that I received that they said they didn't really like it, but they didn't really say if they bought it after my review. I don't know. But anyway, let me know if you're a fan of it. Again, this is a very subjective hobby. You're not going to like everything I like. I mean, if you like my taste, you might, but not everything is going to satisfy you. Moving on to Zara. I finally have a 2021 version of Tobacco Collection Rich Warm Addictive. I'm going to smell this one. I'm not going to smell, obviously, the raw gold because we already know that one. You know, I did smell this after I bought it. It is a little different. I don't get the tobacco in this one at all. It's more of a gourmand, and I feel like this version seems a little lighter and not as long lasting as the original version from 2015 or 2016. But smell wise, they're fairly close. I would wear it. It's a very, very cheap fragrance. It's very unisex, if not even feminine leaning. Not that I have a problem with it, but some men might think this is pretty feminine leaning. It's definitely full on gourmand. Maybe a little coconutty as well. Definitely a little different, but I think it's in the same ballpark. If you're looking for a very, very cheap gourmand fragrance, go ahead and get that one. I think it'll satisfy for like 23 bucks for 100 ml. You can totally spray away and go to bed with that one as a bed scent. All right, next fragrance. This is I took a chance at this because I had heard about it and I found the deal on Fragrance X and I bought it. This is a men's targeted release, but I think a woman can totally pull this one off. This is Ness by Geir. Do you guys know about this one? I wore it to bed a couple times after I first got it and I sampled it and I was like, this is kind of tropical. It reminds me of a beachy fragrance, even though the notes are kind of not really alluding to a beachy kind of a fragrance. I mean, I woke up the next day and I'm smelling it on me. It smelled like I'm like covered in suntan lotion or something. I think it's really, really great smell. I'm not sure if it's very masculine. Doesn't matter. I really like it and I'm glad to have this one. Anybody know Ness? They still sell this at Nordstrom. Full retail, it's like 100 bucks for about 90 bucks, I think. 100 ml for 90 bucks. I bought mine for about 50 bucks for 100 ml. So I do enjoy this one. I'm glad to have it. I really like it. It's kind of classy, but also a little playful with the whole beachiness I'm getting from it. All right, moving on to a Claude Montana fragrance. I told you this is kind of very random fragrances. And Claude Montana, does he do clothing anymore? But this is Graphite Oud Edition. And this was like 35 or 40 bucks. I use Evernote. I don't know if you guys ever use this app. It comes on a phone and computer, and basically in that app I document everything that I want to buy, and this fragrance was documented in there probably for the last 2 years. So recently I was at Fragrance X and I was, you know, filling up a cart to buy a bunch of stuff to get free shipping, and this I found it there and I bought it, and I think it's a good quality oud fragrance. Fairly inexpensive if you're on a budget and you're looking for something not overly expensive. I think this will satisfy. It reminds me of a lot of the oud fragrances I was wearing in the early 2010s when I was brand new in this hobby. So I think it's totally doable. Like if you like oud, designer oud, pleasant smell, Claude Montana Graphite Oud Edition. I believe that's a male targeted release, but it's totally unisex to me. And then of course the Ness is also male targeted, and it's totally unisex for me. I mean, it's not necessarily, you know, masculine leaning, because as I was saying, it's all very beachy to me. But the next fragrance I'm talking about is JACOMO's Silences Eau de Parfum Sublime. Sublime? Is that how you say it? This fragrance is feminine targeted, and to me, for 25 bucks, you can have a Chanel number 19 alternative. Whereas Chanel never goes on sale, it's usually probably around 100 ml for $110 for the eau de toilette, or well, I don't know what their pricing is right now. This is 25 bucks for 100 ml. Yeah, it might not be the same quality of the Chanel, but Chanel's a designer. This is what is it called? What's the note? Galbanum overdose, like full on green, like crunchy green, bitter, vegetal experience. I like it so much because I like number 19. I really like that whole greenness. 25 bucks. I bought 3 more backup bottles, 2 gifts, one for my mom, one for her sister. They both are really into perfumes. I think they would really like this one because they like classic fragrances, but that is a great deal. If you, like I said, if you're looking for a Chanel number 19 alternative, get yourself a bottle of Giacomo's Silences Eau de Parfum Sublime. I think it'll satisfy. Okay, this next bottle was also on my Evernote for fragrances I want to buy eventually. This is a fragrance house that doesn't make fragrances anymore, at least not recently. I think several years ago, the news was out that they were going to stop making fragrances, but apparently this fragrance is still selling. Although the brand is now under LVMH, most likely LVMH will launch fragrances under this brand. I'm talking about Fendi, and this is Furiosa. I've been wanting this fragrance just for the bottle for the longest time. This is an amazing looking bottle. I absolutely love it. Really, really gorgeous looking bottle. This would be a perfect display bottle. So it's kind of a floral, smoky experience. I don't really know the notes. Mostly bought it for the bottle, and I really, really love that bottle. What do you guys think of this bottle? Anyway, great looking bottle. Smell-wise, it's feminine for sure. It's a feminine leaning fragrance, but you know, probably there's a unisex version of this somewhere in the niche world. So this next one's also a feminine targeted release. This is Ted Lapidus RUMBA. This one I looked up, it's created by Jean-Claude Elena, and I've never sampled a fragrance from Ted Lapidus targeted to a woman, and this was like 20 bucks. I decided to take a chance at it. It doesn't smell as good as I wanted it to smell. It smells very, very cheap, and it also smells very, very floral and a little tropical sweet. Kind of reminding me a little bit of the Chant for the Nymph from Gucci, but a lot cheaper. Like it smells really, really cheap. Like the notes don't seem alive. They kind of look like dead, kind of very cheap notes. I hate to use the word cheap all the time, but it doesn't smell very good, sadly. But it's good to have on hand for a fragrance. At one time probably was a really great fragrance. Does anybody know this particular fragrance? Let me know if you've sampled that one. I'd like to find out. Moving on to BLUMARINE, this one. This is another ladies targeted release. This is BLUMARINE Let Me Love You. No, Let You Love Me. What am I saying? I got this bottle of fragrance because supposedly it's kind of sort of similar to D&G by her. Supposedly it smells like that. And the box is kind of sort of similar. If you remember the animal bottles they had a men's and a woman's. The men's was the white, this was more of the feminine. It's a lavender, kind of an aromatic, warm fragrance. Cute little bottle, feminine fragrance. Definitely the lavender's there. I don't know this brand whatsoever. I think it's an Italian brand, BLUMARINE. But this is really smelling great. It's not overwhelming or anything like intense, beefy, anything like that. It just smells like a straightforward designer-esque fragrance. But it does remind me of that D&G fragrance that I remember from the I think it's the late 90s when that came out. So that is BLUMARINE Let You Love Me. Let You Love Me. The only reason I bought it is because supposedly it smells like that D&G fragrance. So this next one is a tester, another tester that I bought of a Van Cleef & Arpels Bois d'Iris fragrance. Do you know about this one? This is from the collection Extraordinaire. This is it right here. And I did a whole video on this brand and I didn't have this particular fragrance and I found the tester. I do have access to some testers here and there once in a while that I snatch up. And this is supposedly something similar to Dior's Bois d'Argent. And it does kind of smell like that, but it smells really, really good. Man, I'm obsessed with Iris lately. I really, really love Iris. I don't know what it is. The Iris Awakening. I'm obsessed with Iris. This is really, really good. I'm glad I have this one. I absolutely would have featured that in the Iris fragrances video that I had done recently. Alright, moving on to this particular fragrance. It's a tester, but it comes in a box, so there's no cap. But this is a CERRUTI or CERRUTI 1881, the original. It's been a while since I sampled this, but it's here. It's in kind of like aromatic, spicy, maybe barbershop-y kind of aromatic fragrance. Too bad there's no cap. Yeah, definitely very, very spicy, aromatic, a little metallic. It's developing into something kind of sort of like Paco Rabanne pour homme, Zara pour homme, you know, things like that. It smells great. Too bad there's no cap. I can't really Instagram this one. That's a bummer, but it was only 20 bucks. Do you guys know that one? Here's one that I actually looked up and I saw, wow, this sounds really great. And I found a bottle on Amazon, snatched up. This is CERRUTI once again, L'Essence de CERRUTI. This actually I wore one day and I was like, wow, this smells so good. There's a fragrance, I think, by État Libre d'Orange. Supposedly this smells like, I could be wrong. I think this fragrance is created by Antoine Lee. And it smells really, really great. I bought this from Amazon. But yeah, that's a great smelling fragrance. It seems spicy, a little warm, a little aromatic. There's definitely some warmth there. Really, really nice. I like that one a lot. Really a lot. So this next one is a LOEWE fragrance in their new bottles. I had the old bottle. I wanted to get their new bottle. This is the new bottle. LOEWE 7 Anonimo, this one right here. This is kind of an incensey fragrance from what I remember. And they've kind of done uniform bottles of all their fragrances now. They're all kind of like this. Whereas before they had all these different designs. Definitely a little incensey smoky and a little ambery, but definitely woody as well. I feel like there's also some black pepper in here. I don't really know the notes. I'm just guessing. I do remember it being a little incensey though. This is really, really nice. It's pleasant smell. Not a lot of people talk about LOEWE. It's a Spanish designer house, and I believe it was started by a German a man, moved to Spain and started this brand. And the LOEWE is currently under LVMH. So LVMH has a lot of different brands. Great scent, LOEWE 7 Anonimo. And then last fragrance before I move on to some vintage stuff. This is from a house called Profumi del Forte. This is Vittoria Apuana. Do you guys know this one? If you do, you probably know why I got this one. This is it right here. This is a coconut bomb. This almost has a kind of a coconut gourmand experience. Smells really, really delicious. Very creamy. It's like coconuts and cream together, not necessarily like the juice of the coconut and the creaminess from the coconut. I feel like there's more cream in there. Very, very gourmand. Also has like a little cookie-like experience. So, so delicious. Vittoria Apuana from the house of Profumi del Forte. I believe these fragrances were in different bottles at one time. They were selling this brand at Neiman Marcus here in San Francisco. They had all these very, very unique kind of colorful bottles. Then they did a uniform bottles and they rebranded, I think. And I don't know where they've been for a while. They've been gone, but I really like that fragrance. I really do enjoy gourmands, and that's a great smelling coconutty gourmand fragrance. All right, on to the vintage stuff. And this is a grab bag of vintage stuff I bought from someone getting rid of their collection. So this fragrance is a tester. It's DRAKKAR Noir. And I had to look through and smell. It's from 2004, so pre-IFRA, I believe, right? Who knows about IFRA and when it started happening? When I smelled this, I thought it might have turned, but really it has not turned. It smells super fantastic. Absolutely love this one. Big fan of the original, well, when it first came out. Not the original, this is not the original, but the original for DRAKKAR Noir is what I'm saying. This smells so good. It's very herbal. You can smell the herbs come alive, like in your nose, like explosion of the herbs. Really, really great. It doesn't smell very similar to that now. I mean, it does, but that has some depth to it in comparison to the current version I have right now. So that is DRAKKAR Noir from 2004. The way I know the date is because there's a date on the back of this box. It's a tester from that year. So the next fragrance, let's do this one. This is a vintage bottle of an aftershave. Sadly, it's not the actual perfume, but I wanted this bottle and I bought it for 10 bucks. Fendi Uomo. It's aftershave. The fragrance itself, I think, has turned, but this is a great looking bottle to display. What do you guys think? Does anybody know this one, Fendi Uomo? Have you seen this particular bottle? Really, really great looking bottle. All right, this next one is a Zegna, Essence de Zegna. Do you guys know this one? Another great deal on this one, and I'm glad to have it because this is really, really tough to find. Let's go ahead and smell this one. They're kind of pricey. There is a little bit of a, like it seems like it's turned a little bit, but that goes away pretty fast. We're left with kind of something citrusy and woody. I feel like I'm getting sandalwood. I haven't smelled the, looked up the notes, but really love that bottle. Any fans of this one? Zegna's Essence de Zegna? Let me know, put a comment down so I can find out. Okay, this next one, NAUTICA's Competition. Anybody know? This is also a little turned, sadly. Also, the cap is a little weird. Look at that. The cap is kind of like melting. And it comes off on my fingers. Let's spray it. I love that bottle, by the way. Seems very aromatic and herbal and citrusy. This one doesn't seem like it's turned. It's a little metallic as well. I can smell the herbs once again, just like the DRAKKAR Noir. This one seems nice. Yeah. Anybody know Nautica Competition? Yeah, these are kind of somebody's collection. This next one is a feminine targeted release, another tester. This is Giorgio Armani Sensi. I believe it's discontinued once again. This is a little ambery experience. It's nice to have this collection of vintage fragrances, discontinued fragrances here in the studio, especially when the library is up and running. Sadly, this one has a weird smell up top, but it develops into something kind of ambery, a little makeup-y. I'd have to put this one to use, but anybody know Sensi? I think that's how you do it. Armani is the brand for this one. This next fragrance is also a ladies' fragrance. This is Donna Karan Gold. Anybody know this one? So when I opened this bottle up, I thought to myself, boy, this design looks like it's Aramis's Arabic collection of fragrances, the saffron and the rose and then the oud. Kind of looks like that. Even when I smelled it, it kind of reminded me a little bit of something like that. But, you know, Donna Karan was under Estee Lauder and Aramis is under Estee Lauder as well. So I guess they kind of copied one another for the bottle design. I don't know much about Donna Karan Gold, but I got good deals on these fragrances, especially since they weren't really smelling that great. But this seems like a fruity, ambery kind of an experience. Anybody wore this one? Donna Karan Gold. Now, Donna Karan, along with Michael Kors, Xenia, Tommy Hilfiger, I believe there might be one more brand, were dumped last year by Estee Lauder. So they're all out with other you know, distributors. Last but not least, this is a fragrance I wore in the early 2000s. Hugo Boss, Boss in Motion. Do you remember this one? Sadly, this fragrance is turned. I got a good deal on these vintages. Most of these are pretty bad smelling, but for nostalgia reasons, this is like, I wore this like 20 years ago. It had a very orangey smell, and when you spray this one, it does have that kind of turned smell, but it kind of develops into that orangey kind of smell that I remember wearing 20 years ago. Anyway, Boss in Motion, the original from I think it's 2002 when this came out. Anyway, that's the last fragrance. What do you think about these fragrances? Have you sampled any of them? Do you like them? It's a pretty big haul. Most of these are kind of classics and vintages and, you know, discontinued scents, but a few still currently in production. Let me know what your thoughts are on these fragrances. Put a comment down so I can find out. I appreciate you tuning in today. If you have any questions or comments, please list below. Please like this video. Please share it. Follow me on Instagram and Facebook, and I'll be back with more videos very soon. Have a good one. Goodbye.